In the Quran, the figure commonly referred to as the devil is known as Iblis. The story of Iblis is central to Islamic teachings about disobedience, arrogance, and the nature of evil. The Quranic account presents Iblis as a being who was initially among the ranks of the angels, but later became the embodiment of disobedience and rebellion against God. Here's the detailed story of Iblis in the Quran. The story of Iblis revolves around the creation of Adam, the first human being. After God, Allah, created Adam from clay, He commanded the angels and all beings in His divine presence to bow down to Adam as a sign of respect and acknowledgement of Adam's special status as God's creation. Quran 7:11-12. And we certainly created you, O mankind, and gave you human form. Then we said to the angels, prostrate to Adam. So they prostrated, except for Iblis. He was not of those who prostrated. While the angels immediately obeyed this divine command, Iblis refused to bow. His refusal was not due to a misunderstanding, but rather an act of deliberate disobedience. Iblis's refusal to bow to Adam was rooted in his arrogance. He believed himself to be superior to Adam because of his own origin. Iblis argued that he was made from fire, whereas Adam was made from clay, and thus, in his view, fire was superior to clay. Quran 7:12. Allah said, "What prevented you from prostrating when I commanded you?" Iblis said, "I am better than him. You created me from fire and created him from clay." Iblis's arrogance and pride were the driving forces behind his disobedience. This rejection of God's command made Iblis a kafir, meaning one who denies or rejects the truth. As a result of his disobedience, Iblis was cast out of the heavenly realm. God expelled him from his divine presence and cursed him. However, before being cast out, Iblis made a request. He asked for respite, meaning he asked for a delay in his punishment until the day of judgment. Quran 7:14-15. Iblis said, "Reprieve me until the day they are resurrected." Allah said, "Indeed, you are of those reprieved." God granted Iblis this respite, but Iblis vowed to use the time to mislead and tempt human beings away from the path of righteousness. Iblis, filled with anger and resentment towards humanity, swore to lead them astray and misguide them in their worship and obedience to God. He declared that he would use various methods to deceive human beings and turn them away from the straight path, the path of righteousness. Quran 7:16-17. Iblis said, "Because you have put me in error, I will surely sit in wait for them on your straight path. Then I will come to them from before them and from behind them, and on their right, and on their left, and you will not find most of them grateful to you." Iblis's main goal, as outlined in the Quran, is to tempt humans into disobedience, sin, and ungratefulness towards God. His tactics include deception, whispering evil thoughts, and taking advantage of human weaknesses. In Islamic tradition, Iblis is often referred to as shaitan, Satan, a term that generally denotes anyone who incites evil or rebellion against God. The term shaitan is used more broadly in the Quran to refer to all evil beings or influences, but Iblis is considered the chief of the devils. Quran 2:36. But Satan caused them, Adam and his wife, to slip out of it, paradise, and removed them from that condition in which they had been. Iblis is specifically identified as the one who tempted Adam and Eve to eat from the forbidden tree in paradise, which led to their expulsion from the garden. This act of deception is one of the most notable instances of Iblis's role as a tempter and deceiver. Iblis is not considered an angel in Islamic theology, but rather a jinn. The jinn are created from smokeless fire, while angels are created from light. This distinction is important because jinn, unlike angels, have free will, meaning they can choose to obey or disobey God. Quran 18:50. And mention when we said to the angels, prostrate to Adam, and they prostrated except for Iblis. He was of the jinn and departed from the command of his Lord. This passage confirms that Iblis was a jinn, and because of his free will, he was capable of choosing disobedience, unlike the angels who are inherently obedient to God. The Quran makes it clear that Iblis will continue to try to mislead and tempt humans until the Day of Judgment. However, God reassures believers that Iblis will have no power over those who are righteous and truly devoted to him. Quran 15-42. Allah said to Iblis, "Indeed, my servants, no authority will you have over them, except those who follow you of the deviators." On the Day of Judgment, Iblis and his followers will face their punishment, as he is destined for hell, along with those who chose to follow his path. In summary, the Quran's story of Iblis is a narrative about arrogance, disobedience, and the ongoing struggle between good and evil. Iblis's refusal to bow to Adam out of pride led to his downfall, and since then, he has dedicated himself to leading humans astray. However, his influence is limited to those who choose to follow him, and believers who remain steadfast in their faith and devotion to God are promised protection from his temptations.